Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Shane Foss, who is the founder and CEO of Hooray Health. Shane, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. So I'm looking forward to talking to you, finding out about your company, finding out what you're doing in these times to not only survive but thrive. Give us a little bit of your background. What led you into founding a company in the medical industry?
Yeah, so really, I grew up in a very small town in northern Minnesota. And, I think really what got me into healthcare was I joined the military, and my first my training in the military, I was an enlisted guy in the Air Force, and I was what they call a surgical technologist, which basically I assist surgeons during surgery, and just fell in love with healthcare, and obviously that was the clinical side of the business, and then I spent the majority of my professional career in medical device, which selling orthopedic medical device, and then leading sales organizations and running organizations there. I've always been in professionally in healthcare, but when I got into health benefits, and what really got me interested was one of my really close friends called me, and he got his first CEO position in a health benefits organization, and said, "Hey, I need some help with the organization. We're struggling a little bit, and we're running out of funding, and I got to go raise money." And so we turned that business around in a very short period of time, sold it, and then I came up with the idea of Hooray Health. And so it was a long journey. I started Hooray basically when I was about 46. So I'm 50 now, and all of my prior mistakes and experiences kind of led me to the place where I was 4 years ago, where I was ready to do it on my own, and I had the right idea, and the right, market was available. So I entered the health benefit space with really not a lot of experience.
Yeah, but, why not?
yeah, why not? It was a place that, needed help, put it that way.
Well, it's like the motivational speaker Les Brown says, jump and grow your wings on the way down. You had a background in some medical and some, medical related in the military. And so now you combine that with some turnaround and business experience. And why not? So what was,
right.
So now you're 4 years in. What's the journey been like first 4 years in the Reader's Digest version? Because I'm sure we could spend 4.5 days on the first 4 years.
Right. Well, growing my wings, put it that way. So it was, like any startup, getting the right people is key. We identified the problem, and we loved the problem as a group, and but making sure that you don't fall in love with your product, right? The solution. You got to make sure that you love the problem, but you keep evolving the solution, because you need to stay ahead of the game. And so, but I would say the single most important thing was really getting the right people in the organization. And as a new organization, you have your COO that is, running basically finance, operations, marketing, doing everything, right? Yeah. Then you as a CEO, you're running finance, and you're running sales, and and it's I was very blessed to have two people with me from the beginning that are still with me, that worked with me in the past, and they're incredible, and so I was very lucky to have them. But now, over the last couple of years, we rounded out our team. We brought on the right insurance knowledge and experience, and so now we're in that hockey stick growth mode where we've kind of made the mistakes. We've modified the product to where we're really we're just heads and shoulders above everybody else, and so it's a really good place right now. But it's taken our share of the lumps, right?
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about head and shoulders because I think no matter what business that you're in, you have to enter it or you have to determine to be head and shoulders. You need to have that competitive advantage because if you are in, again, it doesn't matter the industry. This is an industry agnostic statement. You have to be able to stand out in a positive way so people know to choose you. And I suspect in years past with all of the healthcare changes and plans that implode and looks good and not, you're in a really competitive marketplace, number one, and a very confusing marketplace because people just don't understand. So what is it about your messaging and your product that makes you stand out head and shoulders above the rest?
Well, there's a couple of things. So first and foremost, we only focus on hourly workforce. So whether that's part-time or full-time, we do not offer what you would call a major medical or ACA qualified plan. What we do is, our plans start at $80 a month. We cover basic healthcare needs. So that's competitive advantage number one. So this is our space. Most people just dabble in it. The other thing is when you look at the incumbents, right? The historic insurance companies that participated in this market, if you would have looked at a brochure 20 years ago, it is the same exact product. They haven't changed it, the services, everything. And so where we're head and shoulders above everybody else is our member experience is really similar to what you would get with a major medical. The other thing is our competitive advantage is we actually built our own provider network, and we're the first ones to do that, where we literally have a $25 copay, no balance bill. So if you're familiar with, how most health insurance works is when you go into a provider, you have no idea what you're going to pay. You'll pay the copay, but then you're responsible for the remaining balance that's under your deductible, but you don't know what that is. Well, with us, you know what it is. It's zero. You owe nothing. And so we took a very different approach to our contracting with our providers and our partnerships. And so that in itself really lends itself to our demographic, right? That hourly worker that, has trouble with a $400, unexpected bill. So for us, by focusing there and all of our efforts around that experience and continually growing that provider network to meet our members' needs, we are, again, heads and shoulders above everybody else. So, we have technology from a mobile app standpoint, driving you to the low cost providers that are our providers, but yet they're high quality, right? So it's a completely different experience. So when we're talking to corporations about offering our product to their hourly and part-time, full-time and part-time, they feel a lot better about it because when you're a full-time employee that is making, $100,000 a year and, you've got a salary and, you're looking at your long-term financial, stability, right? When you're making $50,000 or less a year, you are looking at short-term financial stability, and that's what we offer.
Well, I love that you kind of polarize and really, really target a specific audience, and you do one thing extra that I really like, which is I would have thought you would have said, and we have this high-end, great, wonderful, and if you're hourly, then we have plans for you too. You focus on that niche, but you give them high touch, high tech, and really make them feel like they're in the luxury product that you would see out there. So I really like that, and that demographic does not feel like they're an afterthought.
Yeah, and we're really when you put us up against any of the the current players in that market, I mean I feel embarrassed for them because we're so much farther ahead, and it's everything that we do. We focus on that experience for that member. And so when their Bank of America just put out their annual report of financial wellness of employees, and so they have thousands of employers that submit information on the questionnaire. And it's really interesting is I can't remember the exact date, but I think it was 2002. 13% of employers, 13% felt an obligation and personal responsibility for their employees' financial well-being. Today, it's 86%.
Wow.
I mean, that is not a little change. That is a significant change in the mindset. So where we're perfectly positioned is by really identifying the problem that really nobody wants to talk about, which is the uninsured population. By focusing on this, we put ourselves in a position to where large corporations are looking for a viable solution to address this short-term financial stability. And, we are, we're it. And so it's a really good place for us to be. And, we love what we do. I think that, everything we do, I mean, just even starting with our name, right? It's a goofy name. I get it. Hooray Health. It kind of, I get questions every time I present. They're like, how the heck did you come up with that name? Yeah. And I just said, it makes you laugh, right? I mean, we don't want to take ourselves too seriously, but yet, we take ourselves seriously because this is, we read the articles every day that, am I a bad parent because I didn't take my daughter to the emergency room because it was a cost issue, right? And they're making life and death decisions with their, children's lives or their lives because of money. And, it doesn't have to be that way. And we've proven that.
And I don't think it's a corny name. I think it's a light, fun name because you could pose it and say, hey, look, when you find out what sets us head shoulders apart, you're going to feel like saying hooray. It's not like going, we're Raccoon Health or anything weird. I think it's a
right.
nice approach. And it does lend itself to go, look, we really are different, and here's where we're different and why we're different. So I think it's a wonderful business model. Let's talk a little bit about your workforce. How vast is it? And then what have you guys been doing in being able to be virtual and having that kind of electronic touch with each other?
Yeah, so we have 25 employees, full-time employees today, and then we outsource a couple call center items and stuff. But other than that, pretty much everybody's in-house. We transitioned right away to working from home. We use Teams like everybody else. We made sure that we sent everybody home with 2 monitors, their docking station, their keyboard, just like everybody else. So what we do is we have scheduled daily meetings with everyone, and everybody's face to face, right on video. And we've actually done really well. There's a few of us that come into the office just because it's easier. All my stuff is in the office, so I come into the office. But for the most part, most of our team is still working from home, and we'll eventually get back. But we want everybody to be safe. But it's been really good. And what's nice about it for us is our travel expenses have gone down dramatically because everybody's really comfortable with Zoom meetings, and so we've always done very well with Zoom meetings, especially on our initial meetings. But, now it's everybody's making decisions, comfortable making decisions without meeting you face to face, right? But having the video on, it's face to face. So I think that's been, really good from a business standpoint for us.
Yeah, I think we're going to find certain aspects that we've been forced to take on that are going to carry over because, the virtualness, the Zoom meetings, let's say that example. I think we've been hearing about telemedicine, not for decades, but, it's starting to get a little bit more popular. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I bet you that's going to, tele or Zoom medicine, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be even more popular. And yeah, to your point, why do I have to fly around the country to sit in person with someone when I can sit 6 inches from them from monitor to monitor on a Zoom? It's no difference in the world. You just, I feel like people will appreciate the effectiveness of running a meeting that is not pleasantries and 3 hours and 2 days of flights and all of that. Nothing wrong with those, and there are going to be times for larger accounts, but I think that people are getting more and more used to that. So what are you seeing now, looking forward to like trends or changes or things in the industry, in the healthcare industry? What do you see on the horizon that now Hooray Health is going to be prepared for to provide to your clients?
So really, access via telemedicine is going to be enormous. Yeah. And I think what you're going to see is today, the majority of telemedicine is sick visits, right? So I've got sniffles, I've got, cold, I've got the flu, whatever. There's a couple partners that we're working with right now where we're going to be able to manage chronic diseases via telemedicine, where you're going to be able to order labs from our contracted providers. You're going to go get the lab, the doctor, you'll have a scheduled meeting. They'll be able to review it. You'll be able to send them your information, your body weight, stuff like that if you're managing diabetes, but you'll be able to get your A1C, all of those things done. And that is going to be the trend, because here's the beauty of telemedicine. If I'm able to schedule an appointment on telemedicine at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be seen at 11 o'clock. Yeah. When you go to a doctor's office, I don't know. I mean, I literally, I'm very confrontational when it comes to this stuff, because I'm such a customer service centric focused person. And I mean, I can't even go see my last doctor because I told him off because I got the 8 o'clock visit, right, or the appointment, which is
the first one of the day. So how can you be behind?
And he saw me at 10:30.
Oh my word!
And I just said, this is completely unacceptable. And and his hey, look, if you don't like it, you don't have to come see me. And that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
That's and I don't. And the issue is, it takes an average, if you're a new patient to go see a PCP, it takes 24 days to get an appointment. 24 days. And so that's why our provider network, we're really focused on retail clinics and urgent cares, which is immediate care. So you can go there. If I've got the flu, I don't have to make an appointment. I just show up and, I pay $25 and I'm good. Or you can go telemedicine for $0 cost with us. So it's really nice. And so, that's the biggest trend I see is we're going to see a lot more telemedicine, and it's going to be, more widely accepted. And it's an important aspect of the future of healthcare, in my opinion.
Well, I love it. I love when I see people doing things. You're not a total industry disruptor, but you're disrupting pockets of the industry. So I love seeing that.
Right.
And I think that you guys have a great handle in the industry. I love that demographic that you're targeting, because they're underserved and they're well deserved. So I think that's really awesome. So Shane, give us a little bit of details on how someone can reach out, connect with you, learn more about Hooray Health.
Yeah, so you can reach us at www.hoorayhealthcare.com. And you can contact us through the website and request information. If you have a large hourly if you're an employer and have a large hourly population, whether that's full-time or part-time, we'd love to be part of that solution for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Shane. It was really good talking with you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.